Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Mountain Murders Midweek. I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
And you know what, Dylan?
What?
Like hair on a biscuit. We're right on time.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. This is the start of a new horizon for Mountain Murders.
It is.
We're working on being on time.
Timely.
Yes, we owe
punctual.
that. We owe that much to our listeners.
We do. They have supported us for going on 6 years now.
Through thick and thin.
Yeah, when we're inconsistent, when we're consistent, sometimes when we're maybe not as exuberant as we could be on the podcast.
Yeah, sometimes we're flat. I know it happens, but we try to get stuff out every week, and sometimes we're consistently inconsistent.
There's that. So you can always count on us for under delivering and over promising. How's that?
No, we do that. But we do really appreciate you all tuning in week after week. So thank you so much.
Yeah, Dylan, y'all means all.
Y'all is inclusive.
We love everybody.
It's true.
Even the haters.
Until you give me a reason not to.
We had a review recently. It was a 5-star from a good old West Virginia gal. And she said, she had a really good recommendation, Dylan. She said, I needed to get myself a fly swatter.
Yeah.
And that when the haters come around, I just swat at them.
Yeah.
Get.
I got
like an old fly, just shoo you away.
Like a true Southerner, I have a crusty fly swatter over there near the kitchen.
You do have a fly swatter.
I don't allow.
That's how I know you've entered middle age.
I don't allow flies in my eating area.
You can't stand the flies. You and my dad. My dad will spend damn 30 minutes like tracking a fly.
Look, it's going to be a fly death, a gruesome death, and then there's going to be a cleanup that lasts about 5 minutes. I'm not going to leave fly guts everywhere, and the swatter itself has to be cleansed as well. So it's a thing.
Oh, there's like a progress.
Well, but
like a process and a progress to it.
See, I always imagine
like layers, steps.
Yeah, I always imagine that fly's old shit fly, and it just left a big old pile. And now he's in my kitchen trying to kick it. Not going to happen.
On my tater salad.
Not on my tater. That ain't a raisin. That's one of them old shit flies.
Yeah, I don't put... Who puts raisins in their potato salad? I've never seen this.
I don't think that's
Look,
real.
I am so white. I am pasty white. I'm like Mayflower fucking white.
You're translucent.
I'm a cracker.
You are a saltine.
When people say damn cracker, I'm a cracker as hell, right? I have never once in my cracker-ass life seen somebody put raisins in potato salad. I think that was a myth.
Yeah.
It's a disparagement.
And we don't think the mayo's too spicy either.
No,
I like it.
But you put a little bit too much mayo on things.
You know what? I slather mayo on sandwiches.
You do. I can't even taste the sandwich.
You know what?
I like to taste the meat. I like the meat.
Yeah.
And I like the cheese.
You want all the flavors?
The elements. I want the mater. I want everything to have its moment.
Oh.
It's like flavor moment in my mouth.
So it's like it's a dance troupe and they're all like coming to the front and doing their little thing and then fading into the background again.
Yeah, like everybody gets their little spotlight.
Yeah, it's like they're serving.
Even the damn salt and pepper I put on the mater on my sandwich.
They're serving someone.
Yeah, everybody's serving.
Yeah. You know what I do sometimes?
Served.
I actually put mayo on both sides of the bread. I backed off on the mayo.
Okay, we got to stop talking about food because now you made me hungry.
Well, look, and shout out to Discord Brandy. She got mayo all over her shirt today.
Poor girl.
And she still has to work for hours. I bet the mayo's separating on her chest right now.
Oh, gosh. It's curdling.
Yeah.
Ew. Poor Brandy.
Oh, all right.
All right, Dylan, are you ready? Since our listeners are such fantastic folks and they're so lovely, and after this episode, they're going to go leave us a 5-star review. They're going to hit subscribe. They're going to go to YouTube and subscribe.
Oh my gosh, we're on the cusp of monetization there, folks.
I know, right? We've been trying. We've been pushing it.
Throw us a bone.
Yeah, everybody go to YouTube. Listen to the podcast there for a little bit. We just have a few more hours until we can monetize on YouTube.
Oh my God, it's a good way to sneak and do it at work.
Look, I need some new body wash, so y'all need to do this so I can get some money to buy some body wash.
Yeah.
I'm poor.
She needs that, for real, guys.
I'm poor, ain't I?
Oh, my baby smells.
Do I?
No, I'm just kidding. You always worry about smelling, though. You always think you smell, but you don't.
Yeah, I know. I got to slather myself up in some patchouli.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because I was from Asheville. All right, so let's get into this. Dylan, we're going to skip the true crime news recap for the week and get straight into a case.
Ooh.
We haven't had a midweek kind of case in a while, so I thought, a special treat for our listeners. We love them so much. They've been so fucking great. It's summer. It's summer fun time.
It's getting hot in here.
I'm about to take off all my clothes and then eat a mayo sandwich that Dylan makes for me.
You can just scrape it off Brandy.
Let's do this. Yeah, girl, squeeze them titties. Let me have that mayo.
Ooh, that would be an interesting mayo dispenser. I like that.
It's
Titty mayo.
That's going to go on my new OnlyFans account.
Ugh. Damn.
It's called Only Foods. It's just me eating.
Ooh, I think that's a thing where people just eat like a lot at once.
Well, I'm trying to figure out ways I can monetize and exploit myself.
Yeah.
So that would work.
That's big in Korea.
I think people would rather see that than see like my chunky rolls.
Baby.
But maybe somebody wants to see my chunky rolls and see me eat because that's the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm going to be a billionaire. Now let's get into this, Dylan. In March of 1977, so just 1 year before you were born. Before your mama squeezed you out.
Yep.
Just plopped you on out and put you right on a beer can.
I've been told the best part of me was left on the mattress.
Oh, gosh.
What?
That's an insult. All right. So in March of 1977, 1 year before you was even thought about, Dylan, school bus driver Mary Gillespie began getting strange letters mailed to her home in the small town of Circleville, Ohio. Now, this is a case that has interested me for quite a while. And I've considered making it like a full episode. That's why we're going to share it here on the midweek, because it's so bizarre.
Now that sounds like a small town name.
Circleville.
Yeah.
They were written in all capital letters. So just like the angry commenter on Facebook posts.
Yeah.
Or the boomer who doesn't know how to take their cap block off, right? Somebody's writing this in all caps. And it was kind of slightly slanted to the right. The penmanship. The lettering. They were all postmarked from Columbus, which is about 30 miles north of Circleville, but had no return address. These letters accused Mary of having an affair with the superintendent of the school district, Gordon Massey.
Damn.
And threatened that she needed to come clean. Now, Dylan, what would you think about receiving an anonymous letter, right? Accusing you of having an affair with your boss?
Well, I guess a lot of that would depend on whether or not I was really, truly having an affair with my boss, as far as my reaction goes. And as far as the anonymous part, I'd be like, who you supposed to be? I don't answer to you. I literally don't know who you are.
Okay, Mr. Secret.
Yeah. Well, you're running around with all this secret squirrel bullshit.
You little secret sumbitch. Now, the first letter read, quote, "Stay away from Massey. Don't lie when questioned about knowing him. I know where you live. I've been observing your house and know you have children. This is no joke. Please take it serious." That should say seriously, letter writer. "Everyone concerned has been notified and everything will be over soon."
Wow, that's one of the most polite threats I've ever heard of. They ask please.
Yeah, I mean, it's menacing, but not like overly, your life's in danger.
No,
Correct.
but so now not only are you coming at me with these allegations and anonymously on top of that.
Okay, my issue with this is when people start threatening your kids or like, I know you have kids.
Well, see, now you're bringing...
Well, good for you!
Yeah, you're bringing my family into it. And you also have an element of possibly stalking me.
Yeah.
So this is kind of weird.
Right. Mary claims she had no clue what the letter was referring to, but was disturbed that the writer seemed to know these intimate details about her home, her family, the fact she has kids. Mary knew of Gordon as they both worked for the school board and lived in a town with a population of only about 14,000 people. But she insisted she wasn't having an affair with him. Mary didn't know what to do, so she just ignored the letter. She didn't even initially tell her husband Ron about it. She just wanted to put it behind her. However, Dylan, the letters kept coming. So it makes it a little hard to ignore when the anonymous letter writer is persistent.
And also, you would be the first person I would share something like this with. So the fact, maybe she's just trying not to bother or worry her husband.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that seems a bit weird to me that you don't tell him anything about these letters.
No, my first thought is I want to disturb your peace.
Yeah.
Like if my peace is disturbed, my first thing is Dylan's peace is going to be disturbed too.
Are you going to let me worry about it with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm just going to bitch about it to you and make you listen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's always a fun time. I love it when people just unload on you, you know?
Oh, dude. So, quick sidebar. I was watching some reels on Instagram earlier while I was having my coffee. You know, just chilling. I was looking for a good podcast. Couldn't really find anything that was piquing my interest at the moment. I'm kind of between audiobooks right now. So I'm like scrolling through some reels and I stumble upon this account, Dylan. And it's this guy who he's pretending to be a therapist. But he's like brutally honest with his clients.
Okay.
You know, like this one person, she's a female and she's sort of just like trauma dumping on him. And he's like, I'm not here for that. And she's like, but my boyfriend, and she just keeps going on. And he's like, have you ever thought about just shutting the fuck up?
Wow.
Maybe that's why your boyfriend don't call you. And she's like, you know, but it's like a parody account, but it was really funny.
So the people engaging, some of them don't know it's a parody.
No, I think they do know.
Oh,
it's like
okay.
a skit kind of
see.
thing, but it's really funny. And he'll just sit there and like be rolling his eyes the whole time, like totally disinterested. I'll be like, let me just stop you there. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. It was pretty funny.
Now, why do I believe that this type of therapist would actually get people to grow and get better quicker than the touchy-feely bullshit?
'Cause sometimes people just need slapped with some brutal honesty.
Yeah.
Okay. Like a big just
Oh.
set of balls teabagging you right in the face. They just need to be slapped with a dose of reality.
They got to be
because
sweaty.
nobody's ever just been honest with them. I think that's kind of the problem nowadays is people just don't hear the truth very often.
Yeah, I've never been big on sugarcoating things.
Yeah.
Even with my kids, even when they're little. I mean, I'm not going to set you up to believe that you have this, this idealistic world that's all perfect and it's not scary, or you're not going to be brutalized by life every time you turn around.
Nothing is your fault.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I'm real big, like, line in the sand. Now you've crossed it. I'm not going to beat them or anything, but there are going to be consequences for your action.
Don't beat them or anything. I like that you have to clarify.
Well, yeah, I'm going to let people know, and if I did, you got to, top of the head and in the stomach, so there's no bruising.
What a loud cat. She's such a squeaky kitty.
Oh, she's trying to co-host. Go on now. You can't co-host.
You're cute. We see you.
You're cute, but you're shitty in the studio.
Dude, she's a devil.
Like literally, she will take a big banger of a poo in the studio. Thanks.
Okay. So the second letter was much more aggressive and alarmingly specific. It included the number of Mary's bus and the exact details of her bus route. It also threatened to, quote, pull a bullet in that little girl's head, referring to Mary and Ron's young daughter, Tracy.
Oh, wow, this is taking a sinister turn. Now, this is getting quite dark.
Yeah, this is definitely, I mean, in the beginning, it was a little, it's kind of menacing, but this is definitely, I use the word alarming. It's frightening. And not only are you mentioning my child, but you're threatening my child. Most people are not going to be okay with that.
No.
A third letter arrived saying it was Mary's, quote, last chance to report Gordon for having an affair with her. Now, this letter did have a return address, 550 Ridgewood Drive, right there in Circleville. Now, that home belonged to Gordon Massey and his wife. Of course, Gordon wasn't the one writing these letters, accusing himself of having an affair. And it turned out that he had also been receiving creepy letters accusing him of having an affair with Mary. The letter writer continued to threaten, and they would tell the school board if Gordon and Mary's wrongdoings would alert the school board about the wrongdoings if the couple, and I say couple loosely, did admit to the affair.
So if you don't come clean, I'm going to report you to the school board, both of you.
The letter writer didn't seem to be keeping up with their own bullshit, basically, though, as some letters claimed that they had already written to the appropriate people to inform them of the affair. Soon letters started being delivered all over town, Some people on the school board did indeed receive letters exposing Gordon and Mary. Churches, some stores, a newspaper, and random townspeople also received the strange notes.
Oh my gosh.
Now, at this point, I wouldn't know what to think.
No, this is getting out there now. I mean, they've spread it around enough that people are talking about it, I'm sure.
Oh, it's a small town. People are talking.
Oh, especially in the churches. People love the gossip at church.
They really do. Yeah. Mary's husband, Ron, even got one that suggested he should kill his wife and her secret lover.
Jeez.
Nobody was sure what to do. Hundreds of letters were being received all over town demanding a confession to something that wasn't true and giving no one instructions for how to make this letter campaign end.
Well, see, why don't some members of the school board and the superintendent and her get together and concoct a plan to expose themselves, even though everyone knows it's not true, in a public fashion to appease the letter writer? Yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, like if I were Mary, I'd be like, I was hopping on Gordon's school bus and Mr. Thomas and Mr. Bill, and I would just start and the secretary there, Linda.
Oh, gosh, she was a camera person.
Yeah, I was just doing everybody.
Yeah, I'll do you, too, if you reveal yourself, you sumbitch.
Won't you meet me outside in the backseat of this van?
I'm having an affair right now.
Yeah, exactly. One letter warned Mary that the writer was going to turn up the heat, Dylan. You said it was getting hot in here.
What's next?
It's plumb sweltering. They claimed they were going to start putting up signs all around town telling her alleged story. So as promised, cardboard signs with the similar writing style did actually start popping up around Circleville with the same accusations, with most being posted on Mary's school bus route. So she would have to see the signs while she's picking up and dropping off kids.
The kids is like, ain't that you, Miss Mary, on that sign down there on the light pole?
Miss Mary, my mama said you was a slut.
They said there's a reward for your slutty ass.
Wanted one good slut.
Wanted the truth.
Wanted someone to ride my bus route.
God, this is too much.
Yeah, pump my bus full of gas.
Damn.
Yeah, pump the brakes.
Yeah, fuck. Change your fluids.
Yeah, put that big stop sign out.
I'm going to rotate your tires.
Oh.
Damn.
Honk, honk.
I'm going to blast your underside with a jet of water or something.
Yeah. Why don't you slap some hot wax on this?
Damn, you're dirty today.
Slap a bumper sticker on the rear end.
Okay.
This is a break for beavers.
Yeah, I'm going to give you an alignment, front and back.
Okay. Sorry.
Stupid.
The signs and letters turned more vulgar and vile, as they also accused Gordon of having an inappropriate relationship, sexually, by the way, with his daughter. With Mary's daughter.
Come on.
Tracy. Now, the Gillespies were desperate for Tracy not to see anything that involved these lewd accusations. So Ron got up early every morning to drive around and take down the signs before anyone could see them.
Oh my gosh.
Now, this is just turning into a nightmare, right? Ron's sister Karen and her husband Paul Freshour visited the Gillespie home and tried to come up with a plan to stop the madness. Mary recalled an incident where another bus driver named David Longberry had made a pass at her and she had rejected him. She thought maybe this was his deranged way of getting revenge on her.
What's up with these people's last name? You got Freshour and Longberry? Nice. Circleville's representing.
They decided they should write their own note to David telling him they knew he was the letter writer and he wasn't going to coerce a confession out of anyone, so he might as well stop with this ridiculous plan. Their plan seemed to work. Mary stopped getting letters and no signs on the road appeared for several weeks. On August 19th of 1977, the case took a mysterious and tragic turn. Mary and her sister-in-law Karen were out of town on a bit of a girls' trip. Mary's daughter Tracy recalled that around 10 p.m. the phone rang and her father spoke briefly but, pretty intensely with the person on the other end. He hung up and told Tracy he was going to confront the letter writer. Ron got his gun.
Damn.
Yeah, and drove away.
So he just has this heated conversation. One side is all she's getting. She really didn't get details, it sounds like. And he says, I'm going to go handle this, and leaves with a gun.
Less than 10 miles from the Gillespie house, Ron had a serious accident. It appeared he had almost missed a turn, swerved to try and make it, lost control of the car, and crashed. Ron suffered massive internal injuries and died before he got to the hospital.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, at the time, he apparently had a blood alcohol concentration of about 0.16, which was double the legal limit. Ron's gun was found in the car, and it was missing a bullet, though there was no indication that he had fired it that night, just that it had been used at some point.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? He could have shot that at any time, you know what I mean?
A squirrel.
Or he could have not loaded, enough shells in it.
A coon in the trash.
Yeah, you never know.
In the trash.
Yeah, in the trash.
In the trash. I'm sorry, I'm feeling very nostalgic about home today.
You're froggy today.
I am.
Yeah.
I had a lot of coffee.
Why don't you go ahead and hop on this lily
I'm
pad?
hopped up on coffee and vitamins. Yeah.
Gosh.
Got those B vitamins flowing.
This is middle-aged life.
Woohoo!
When you're like, I missed my vitamins this morning. I can't get going.
Yeah, or my handful of vitamins. I have to I take so many. I have to separate them into doses of some in the afternoon, some in the morning.
Now, do you burp any of them up? Because I'm having good luck on that. My regiment's not really bothering me.
Yeah, I'm not really having that problem.
Okay.
I hear people that happens with fish oil.
Yeah, I'm not having that
really
issue.
Been happening with me.
Yeah, I know. We
Never
must
really had that problem.
They must have the really good fish oil at the dollar store.
Oh, actually, that fish oil came from the Walgreens.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Rich people vitamins.
Well, it's because it was on sale. Walgreens is expensive.
Man.
I'm sorry. Can I just say for a moment? I mean, shit's expensive everywhere. But when I go in there and a bottle of lotion's $16 that would normally be maybe $6 at Walmart, I'm like, what are you fucking doing, Walgreens?
I don't know. I went there a time or two. I've had injuries and needed some gauze and a few things like that. And you'll come up
spend $70.
$54-$60, bro.
Yeah.
Damn.
This was all suspicious to a lot of people who knew Ron because Ron was familiar with the area and it seemed odd that he would miss this turn that he took almost every day. Yeah, but he's been drinking.
He's half lit and he's pissed off.
The weather was good that night. It was clear. It was dry. So it was unlikely that the roads were slippery or that his visibility was diminished. Ron wasn't much of a drinker. At 5'7" and about 155 pounds, it would take 4 or 5 drinks to reach that alcohol concentration. And his family said that Ron was not the type to sit around having 5 drinks, even socially, especially not on a casual night just hanging around the house. And especially when he's the only parent in the state at the time, taking care of their daughter. Tracy.
Oh, so this is very out of character for him.
Very out of character.
Yeah, but then, how else would he, be intoxicated to that level?
Tracy also said her father didn't seem drunk as he left the house. But I don't know for sure if, she had seen him drinking or not. Ron's brother-in-law, Paul Freshour, spoke to Sheriff Dwight Radcliffe at the crash scene. He later said that the sheriff told him he was reluctant to definitively call it an accident. When Paul spoke to him a few days later, though, he said a suspect had been cleared, and he was now more comfortable with labeling the crash as an accident. The sheriff didn't tell Paul who had been a suspect or why, or how they had been cleared.
Well, no, I need many more details in this situation. That's a whole can of worms you're opening with that.
Well, it is, but at the same time, the sheriff, it's just an investigation. They have a right to kind of keep some cards close. Because then, if they let it slip we think this guy's responsible, there could be retaliation.
Well,
this guy could be kind of wrongfully accused.
Well,
and then we could see, we were just talking in the Dayton Strangler episode about how in these small towns, sometimes that lynch mob mentality comes. Ron's friends and family could be to hell with this person. We're going to take our pitchforks over there and stab him in the face.
And tie him on a rail and literally carry him out of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, it's valid points, but I would personally, God, I wouldn't want to accept that. I would want to know.
Well, of course, I think all families want answers. Once Ron's crash was officially designated an accident and his cause of death was released to the public, the letters started up again. This time, they were targeting Sheriff Radcliffe, saying he was covering up what really happened to Ron. The writer told the town that Mary and Gordon were responsible for Ron's death. Whether or not the writer knew that Mary hadn't even been in town or the state at the time is unclear, but I guess it doesn't really matter to this letter writer. A 2-year period of silence followed the accusations. Mary was able to grieve the death of her husband, and she was kind of, cautiously optimistic that it would be the end of this mysterious letter campaign.
God, I mean, look what's happened. I mean, this has been a lot. And all the worry about, who it is and the wondering if they're watching me now and you're talking crazy about my kid. And now her husband, this has happened. I mean, my God.
However, in the fall of 1979, the letters started up again. By this time, Gordon Massey and his wife were getting a divorce.
Ah.
Oddly enough, Mary and Gordon had started actually having an affair.
Oh, my gosh.
Both swear it happened after the letters accusing them of it and after Ron's death.
See, this is what happens when you keep accusing someone of something they're not doing. And finally, they're just like, should we be having an affair? I mean, the letter writer feels very strongly that we
that's
are.
Great, because I dream about you cheating on me constantly, so now you're saying you're going to go have an affair because of my weird dreams? Thanks, Dylan. Thanks for telling everybody.
Well, no, if there was
what you're about to do.
Weird anonymous
See, now you've been busted.
Letter writer
like
pushing me to it, and then you're out of the picture because you wrecked in the car.
It's the Minority Report. It's already, you're predicting it's going to happen. So you're busted.
No, I got to say your anxiety dreams that's not an infallible system that I talked about, on another episode. And we're not going to accept that Minority Report. Okay.
Just busting your chops.
Yeah. And I would never cheat on you.
Your little chops need busted.
Gosh, you wake up and you actually be looking at me like, mm-hmm. I'm like, what? I ain't did nothing. And that's a double negative.
We know that's a damn lie. You always doing something.
Well, I ain't cheated on you.
Sneaking around.
I ain't nobody sneaking.
Lying, telling a lie.
I ain't sneaking. Omitting information is not lying.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
It is
Oh,
too.
my God. See what's happened? See what these anonymous letters have caused?
They're destroying our marriage, Dylan.
Jesus.
Not you being full of shit, right?
Oh, my God.
However, in the fall of 1979, the letters started up once again. As I mentioned, this time Gordon and his wife are getting this divorce. These other folks are having this affair. Ron's dead. So it almost makes me wonder if the letter writer was actually onto something.
Ah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't even think about
right?
that. Yeah.
Like maybe this is really what's been happening. And now they've come out in the open with it and are trying to say they bonded over the letters. And that's what brought them close in the first place. So, according to the couple, the accusations had manifested into the real thing rather than the other way around. But I don't know, Dylan. I think maybe they're just out in the open with it now.
Jeez, I don't know how, but I didn't even think about that.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
I don't know if I believe them at all anymore.
In 1982, Karen and Paul also separated. Karen said Paul was physically abusive in their relationship and had given her black eyes and even like wounds that required stitches.
Damn.
Yeah. She described him as manipulative and mentioned to Mary that he might be the one writing the letters.
There you go.
So is Karen onto something, or is this just the words of an angry woman going through a divorce?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll never know the answer to that.
How do you know we won't know?
Oh, I don't know. Do we? Do we know the answer to that?
Karen had discovered similar letters to the ones everyone had been receiving in her house and even found one clogging the toilet.
Now, wouldn't Karen know her Paul's handwriting almost instantly? I mean, it seemed I know your handwriting. And this sounds like rather specific handwriting with the all caps and the slant to the right and all.
Paul had apparently really turned on Mary at some point in her relationship with Paul. Paul allegedly believed the accusations of the affair and blamed Mary for Ron's death. The Freshour divorce became a bitter situation. They fought over custody of their kids and valuable assets. So many believe that Karen's accusations were simply made out of spite and weren't necessarily grounded in any real evidence, and that maybe she was exaggerating, having found similar letters.
Yeah, but Jesus. So where the hell did this story come from? This is a crazy bunch of mess.
The letters continued. Oh man, this has been I believe there's an Unsolved Mysteries based on, actually, I think I might have gotten the idea from Unsolved. There's a lot of information about this. It's a pretty well-known case in some circles, right?
Including Circleville.
In Circleville, yep. The letter, I'm glad you got that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we love a good pun here.
That was a nice softball. Appreciate it.
The letters continued. Tracy Gillespie now became the target of the menacing letter writer. She had received very vulgar, sexually explicit letters. The signs that had once started being posted on the roads again accused Gordon and the 13-year-old Tracy of being involved in a sexual relationship. On Monday, February 7th of 1983, the case took another grim turn. In between dropping off and picking up kids along her bus route, Mary saw another sign saying some pretty horrific things about her daughter. She parked the bus, got out, and went to rip down the sign. Behind it, she found a strange contraption. It was a box with some wood and a series of strings attached to it. She took the whole thing with her, hoping to find some clues as to who was terrorizing her family. Mary finished her bus route as normal, then sat in her driveway and investigated the box. Now, Dylan, if you find a strange box like this, are you going to investigate? Because I can tell you, I'm probably not gonna.
Well, no, because I could imagine that it could be anything. It could be booby trapped.
It could be a snake.
Yeah. Well, just a weird box with a bunch of strings on it behind one of these signs. And this has been going on for quite some time now. I mean, this is...
The lid's glued shut. To me, that's not a good sign.
No. I always think about
I'm automatically thinking it's like a bomb.
I think about the AIDS needle box or whatever that dude sent Bjorg. You remember that case? He was obsessed with her.
Oh, you mean Bjork?
Bjork.
Bjorg.
Yeah, the Borg. Sorry, that was Star Trek Next Generation.
Bjork.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? He was rare.
I remember she had a stalker.
He was very obsessed, and he had come up with all these different ideas of how to kind of get at her and harm her, because at some point, I guess she dated someone he considered outside of her race, and he was very pissed off about that. This guy was totally wackadoodle. But yeah, I'm just not going to open anonymous boxes, let alone if they're connected to this sign that's been terrorizing me all this time.
Well, again, the lid was glued shut, but Mary tried to pry it open, and when she finally managed to get this lid off, she was shocked at what she found inside. It was a .25 caliber handgun, held up with styrofoam with strings attached to the trigger.
There you go. It's fucking booby trapped.
Yeah, that would be my first thought, is like, Now, at first, she thought maybe it wasn't real, or at least not loaded, but upon further investigation, proved that it was both real and loaded. She took the box and the gun to the police, and they confirmed that the intention was for the gun to have fired when someone took the sign in front of it down.
Jesus.
So whoever rigged this booby trap was obviously not Data from the Goonies and was not good at inventions or booby traps.
So their intent was whoever's taking the signs down for them to get harmed.
Yeah.
Or killed.
It's nuts. The letter writer had just tried to murder Mary Gillespie. The serial number of the gun had been partially filed off, but police, using their crime lab, were able to lift it anyway. They tracked down the sale to a Columbus gun shop. Management said it had been purchased by a man named Wesley Wells. When police spoke to Wesley, He said he had sold the gun to a supervisor a year earlier. You'll never believe who the supervisor is, Dylan.
Hell, I can't even keep up anymore. Who is it?
I'm telling you, this story has some strange turns.
Is it Ron?
His supervisor was Paul Freshour.
Damn it.
So maybe Karen was onto something.
Again.
The police investigation discovered that Paul had taken the morning off on the day that Mary found the booby-trapped box. On February 25th of 1983, Paul was taken into custody and questioned. Sheriff Radcliffe asked him about the gun, and he said he had bought it from Wesley, but claimed he hadn't seen it since he got back from a vacation in January.
Yeah, because, I mean, you know how many times I've misplaced a gun and never saw it again? I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, he said he didn't report it missing because he thought a family member had taken it and he didn't want to get them into trouble.
You know how many times a family member, I don't even know who it is, came and took my gun and I never saw it again, but then I didn't tell anybody because I wasn't sure if it was a family member that actually took that gun? I mean, all the time.
He refused to tell police who that family member was. Paul took 3 or 4 polygraph tests and failed each one. He was also asked to give several writing samples, and some were even taken from his work files.
Oh,
and
wow.
Compared, the letter Circleville Letters, and then his handwriting were compared. Radcliffe is often criticized for getting Paul to copy the letters word for word in the same style. Because usually when handwriting samples are taken, the person is dictated what to write and not actually given the evidence to copy. So some people felt like Paul was being set up. His samples were found to be a match to many of the letters and postcards that were sent from the letter writer. However, the samples used in court were the ones that had been dictated, and some from his personal correspondence. None of the directly copied letters made it into evidence. Radcliffe was also criticized for not following up on a promising lead. Another bus driver on Mary's route saw someone near the site of the trap not long before Mary found it. He was described as having sandy blonde hair and was seen driving a yellow or orange El Camino.
Oh, wow.
Which is awesome.
That would stand out, too. Now, if you were a parent with a kid on this bus, I would be like, I don't want you to be on this bus anymore. This is way too much. I mean, what's next? What the bus gets booby-trapped or tampered with?
Exactly. That's scary. Some sources claim that the vehicle can be connected to the person Mary originally thought was sending the letters, David Longberry, because his brother allegedly owned the same car that was described. In 1999, Longberry was caught assaulting an 11-year-old girl and fled town.
Damn.
He committed suicide before he could be tracked down.
Good.
The letter writer had been saying sexually explicit things about Mary's underage daughter for years, and Longberry again had a bit of a reason to target Mary. I mean, he was rejected. But this lead was never investigated.
I mean, that doesn't make sense. For you have a guy who's actually other parties involved think that there's a good chance it's him. They send him a letter back saying, we know it's you. And then all the stuff stops for a while, and then it starts up again. And there's evidence of him seems to be evidence of him assaulting a young girl. And then you got the letter writer talking crazy about another young girl. I mean, how in the hell wouldn't you follow this lead up?
Beats the hell out of me.
You have a
Dylan.
witness saying they see this a very distinct vehicle and awesome at the same time, an orange El Camino, and his brother has a damn orange El Camino.
A grand jury indicted Paul for attempted murder in March of 1983. While awaiting trial, which was set to start in October, Paul was let out on bail and checked himself into a psychiatric facility. Now, it wasn't clear whether this was a legitimate stay due to maybe the stress of the situation, his crumbling marriage, or if he was just trying to set himself up for an insanity plea. Paul's defense did briefly submit a plea of not guilty by virtue of insanity, but it was later rescinded. The trial lasted 12 days. 39 of the more than 1,000 letters the town had received were admitted into evidence. Now, I just have to say, Who has time to write 1,000 letters? That's a lot of handwritten letters.
Well, I thought this whole situation has been a lot of work, a lot of time and effort.
Someone needs a hobby.
Or a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the jury saw that Paul's handwriting was a match to the letters, that the gun belonged to him, and that he had taken the morning of February 7th off work. Paul's defense said it was Karen looking for revenge over, these hostile custody proceedings, this nasty divorce that was happening, and that she was the one who set the trap, and she was trying to frame Paul.
Okay.
Paul also had alibis that checked out for part of the morning he took off for work. However, the evidence against Paul was too compelling for the jury. They didn't see why Karen would risk harming Mary just to get revenge on Paul. It was also wildly suspicious that it was his gun that was used, and that he had such a weak and kind of confusing excuse for why it wasn't in his possession at the time. Remember, some random family member must have taken it, and he didn't want to get him into trouble, and none of that really adds up.
Now, I got to say, if I was on this jury, I kind of agree. I mean, this is fairly compelling evidence that you certainly had a hand in this. I mean, how do you poke holes in all that? That seems to be a lot of evidence against him.
After just a 3-hour deliberation, they found Paul Freshour guilty of attempted murder. He was sentenced to 7 to 25 years in jail. The town of Circleville, Ohio, breathed a collective sigh of relief as the suspected writer, who had been terrorizing them all for years, was finally sent to prison. Surely that would be the end of the ordeal.
Then letters from the prison started showing up.
Unfortunately, this was not the case, Dylan. The letters just kept coming. Even Paul received one in jail saying, quote, "Now, when are you going to believe you aren't going to get out of there? I told you 2 years ago. When we set them up, they stay set up. Don't you listen at all?"
Damn.
Paul insisted he had nothing to do with it. The letters still looked the same and were still postmarked from Columbus, while Paul was being held in prison in, I think it's Lima, Ohio. Or Lima. I don't know. Someone's probably yelling at me right now.
Okay, well, I mean, you said it the two ways it could be if it's Lima, so, I mean, what are you going to do?
Many insisted he must have been smuggling the letters out somehow, or that he had an accomplice on the outside who had sent Paul a letter to throw the authorities off his trail.
This letter smells like poo.
Sheriff Radcliffe called the warden of the prison and insisted that Paul be put in solitary confinement with no access to other prisoners or a phone, and certainly not pen and paper. The warden complied with this request, but still the letters did not stop.
They forgot he had a bevy of carrier pigeons.
This guy, he has full access to all the stationery. He is a member of the Stationery of the Month Club, and there is no stopping him.
He's the president.
Yes. There was no possible way that Paul was still the one sending letters, yet he remained in prison for the crime. He hadn't been arrested for writing letters after all. He had been convicted of attempted murder. Paul was granted parole in 1994 after 10 years in prison. Did you get it? Are you still trying to get a fly?
No, it's a gnat, dude. It was one of them Peter gnats, and I imagine it just came fresh off of a dog's Peter outside, and it's trying to land on my microphone, bud.
He still vehemently denied being the letter writer, and even put together a massive 162-page report on all the letters the town received to send to the FBI to request a proper investigation. In the mid-90s, as I mentioned earlier, Unsolved Mysteries aired an episode about the letter writer.
Damn, I never saw that episode.
Yeah, I put it in this, but I've had this actually for a minute. So I kind of had forgotten that I put it in there. But I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how I first heard of the case.
Okay.
Was on Unsolved Mysteries. They soon received their own letter warning them from investigating any further. It read, quote, "Forget Circleville, Ohio. If you come to Ohio, you El Sickos will pay."
Wait a second. Unsolved Mysteries got a letter?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Hey, you can't make Robert Stack back down, bud.
Okay, so after that, nobody ever received a letter from this anonymous writer again. Paul Freshour died in 2012 and was still adamant that he had not been involved in this, was not the letter writer, and
didn't set the booby trap.
Didn't do any of that. That he was framed.
And he was a victim as well, as what he claims.
Yeah.
Now, could you imagine if he's telling the truth? This damn nightmare he's lived?
This whole thing is just crazy as hell. Don't you think?
Circleville, Ohio. What the hell's going on? Watch Mountain Murders get a damn letter next.
Oh, gosh.
Talking about, you better stop it, Heather. Your in-depth research needs to quit now.
But
and
there
Dylan, your interesting insight. No more of that. No more of that.
Well, Dylan, there is a show that has been released on Paramount Plus about the Circleville Letters, and a forensics person named O'Toole, who has been looking into this case, does not believe that Paul Freshour is the letter writer.
Okay.
So this FBI profiler, Mary Ellen O'Toole, raises some doubts about whether the case was solved with his conviction. She spent her career with the FBI helping profile notorious criminals like the Unabomber, and she describes a person who doesn't appear to fit Freshour's public persona. She believes that the anonymous Circleville writer had a serious personality disorder and enjoyed hurting others.
You think so?
So she suggests that those around the writer would have all seen this certain kind of callousness, because that need for power, control, the need to dominate, the need to scare people sort of existed in these letters. And she thinks that people would have seen that in Freshour, and he wasn't really described as that kind of person. So she's saying that kind of, I guess, psychopathy, you wouldn't be able to hide. It would eventually come out.
So people around Freshour early on would have started suspecting him much more, right? Is that what she's saying?
Well, she's saying
it'd been more obvious that he was indeed the letter writer.
Right. And she says she believes the person behind the letters went to so much, such great lengths, to stay anonymous, that they likely would not have risked setting up this booby trap. And instead, she thinks there's a possibility that the booby trap was put in place by somebody else who was just taking advantage of the situation. So that makes me think maybe Karen really could have set up Paul.
Well, look, here's the thing. Look, folks. If you set this trap up, you're likely not going to use a gun registered to you, because, most people know, even people that aren't true crime fans, guns can easily be traced if they were legally purchased, and registered to you. So that would be a really dumb move on the part of anyone to use your own weapon. And if you did, surely you're going to have a better idea or a better answer as to where your gun was or how it got out of your control. You know what I'm saying? Not some lame ass watered down, thing about, you don't know, maybe it was a family member, rah, rah, rah. So yeah, that part really doesn't add up, honestly.
Well, O'Toole's belief that the writer was someone other than Paul also comes because she questions the testimony of the two handwriting experts that linked him with the letters. She doesn't maybe believe that they were credible experts.
Okay.
Nowadays it seems like all you have to do is just call yourself an expert.
Well, yeah,
what are your credentials to be a handwriting expert? Did you go to handwriting analysis school?
Nope. I watched 5 videos on YouTube.
I did a correspondence course that I found on TV.
Well,
at 4 a.m.
And I would say that, which I've seen handwriting analysis be fairly compelling evidence in some cases. But I would also say that just much like a hair follicle analysis has been accused of kind of being junk science and being too subjective to be, solid evidence in court. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, this 48 hours docu show or whatever on the Circleville letter writers, they actually got a forensic document expert named Beverly East to do a new analysis. And after comparing a selection of 49 of those anonymous letters to Paul Freshour's known handwriting, East is pretty confident she knows the identity of the letter writer.
What?
She says she would go to court and swear on the Bible on this new found evidence. And I'm just going to leave it there because I don't want to spoil anything. Go watch the show on Paramount.
Damn.
See for yourself.
Damn, dude.
So that's where I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you hanging.
You left me over here on
High,
that.
give me down low. Oop, too slow. I'm going to leave you hanging, bro.
Oh, that's not funny. You know, when I was young, when I was a kid, people would do that. It would piss me off.
Well, I think that was the intention.
Well, I thought you really wanted some skin, and I'm trying to give you some skin, and you're just going to leave me hanging like that, bro?
Yeah.
I
like your skin in those little shorts.
You like that? Yeah. Look at those thunderous thighs.
I know.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that big old scar from where you cut yourself with a chainsaw.
Well, don't tell people that.
Well, no, that's hot.
It makes me seem silly.
It's hot.
Makes me seem inadequate
Yeah.
and out of control.
Like an out of control lumberjack.
My knees hurt.
Oh.
I'm old.
I get you a heating pad.
I'm old, ain't I?
Yeah, you are.
Well,
I'm going to take your little old broke down ass out and throw you in a pool somewhere because it's hot as hell.
yes.
Do some swimming, Dylan.
Look, thank you for that. And
You're
that
welcome.
was a crazy ride. I mean, that is such a
I
crazy
told you.
a crazy story.
But wait, there's more. No, there's not. That's it.
All right. Once again, thanks to all our listeners. And thanks to our patrons. We love each and every one of you. And I don't know what else to say.
Join us at patreon.com/Mountain Murders podcast. We just dropped the barbecue murders there. Of course, you can find this episode on Patreon ad-free.
Yeah.
And we have a few more Patreon episodes in the works. We will be dropping those this week.
Oh, man. We're pumping it out here.
We're gonna pump it up, Dylan.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do.
Pumping out episodes.
Yeah, more content. Get those hot, lazy days of summer. Perfect for listening to a podcast when you're sitting in your hammock.
Yeah.
Sweating, swatting the gnats and the skeeters away.
Yeah, you got to kill all the flies.
You got
and the dog
you
Peter
got
gnats.
these annoying mosquitoes, Heather and Dylan, buzzing in your ear the whole time.
Yeah,
it's
we're
great.
right in your ear hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, crawling into your brain. Damn.
Okay, Dylan.
What's up?
You have a lot of authority there.
I'm going to write some letters to our listeners.
You got a lot of influence.
And if you want me to send you anonymous, nefarious letters, just send us your address to mountainmurderspodcast@gmail.com. And I will write you some funny, scary letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun. We could do that. All right, Dylan. Bye.
Bye.